All right, we're going to talk about a tiny strip of water that you've definitely heard of, but you might not realize just how much it holds the entire global economy in its grip. We're talking about the Strait of Hormuz. Its real power is kind of mind-blowing, so let's get into it. So this is really the big question, right? At its narrowest point, the strait is just 21 miles wide. That's it. It's shorter than running a marathon. And yet, this one little channel can send absolute shockwaves through markets and politics all over the world. How on earth is that even possible? Well, the answer really starts with this one number. Every single day, something like a quarter of all the oil that's transported on ships passes through this one spot. Just let that sink in for a second. One of every 4 oil tankers on the entire planet is funneling through this tiny corridor. That fact alone tells you just how unbelievably important this place is. People call it the world's energy artery, and that's not just some catchy phrase. It's a perfect description because it gets to a simple, unchangeable fact. It's not just about how much traffic goes through here, it's about the total lack of any other option. Now, the technical term for a place like this is a maritime choke point. And believe me, it's called that for a very good reason. It's the only way for ships to get from the Persian Gulf out to the open ocean, but because it's so narrow, it's super vulnerable. Any problem here can literally choke the flow of global energy. The easiest way to picture it, think of a giant superhighway, but one with absolutely no off-ramps, no side roads, no detours whatsoever. For all that oil and gas coming out of places like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, the UAE, this is the only way out, by sea. You literally cannot go around it. And this chart just drives home the scale of that dependency. We've been talking a lot about oil, but look at liquefied natural gas, LNG. It's about the same story. Roughly a quarter of the world's entire supply goes through Hormuz. So you see, this isn't just about the gasoline in our cars. It's about the energy that heats our homes and powers pretty much all of our industries. Okay, so whenever you have this much economic value squeezed into one tiny spot, you know it's going to become a huge geopolitical issue. And because of the way the map is drawn, this strait gives one country a crazy amount of leverage, and that country is Iran. So Iran's power here really comes from 3 things. First, just basic geography. Its coastline runs along the entire northern side, giving it a front row seat to everything that happens. Second, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Iran needs the strait to be open for its own oil exports too. And third, all of this gives them huge deterrence power. Just the threat of causing trouble here is a massive bargaining chip on the world stage. And this creates this really interesting military situation. On one side, you have the massive conventional power of the U.S. Navy. We're talking giant aircraft carriers, high-tech destroyers. But Iran plays a different game. It's called asymmetric warfare. They don't need a huge navy to be a threat. A swarm of small, super-fast boats, or a bunch of well-placed naval mines, or some advanced anti-ship missiles, that's all it takes to cause chaos and challenge a much bigger force. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. Because what happens in this tiny region doesn't stay in this region. You've probably heard the old saying, when Hormuz sneezes, the world economy catches a cold. And it's absolutely true. When things get tense here, everybody, everywhere, feels it. And this is the most immediate way you see it. We're not even talking about a war, just the hint of trouble. A tense encounter, some heated words from a politician. That's all it takes for global oil markets to totally freak out. Insurance costs for ships skyrocket, and guess what? That cost gets passed all the way down the line, right to us at the pump. So who's the most exposed to all this? Well, it's the industrial powerhouses of Asia. As you can see here, countries like China, India, Japan, and South Korea are hugely dependent on the energy flowing through Hormuz. A massive chunk of their energy imports comes through this single choke point. If it gets shut down, it doesn't just threaten their lights staying on, it threatens their entire economies, and that would send shockwaves around the globe.
All of this brings us to what's really happening here every single day, an incredibly tense, high-stakes standoff. It's like a constant geopolitical chess match with a bunch of different players, and all of them want something different.
And this table breaks it down pretty clearly. You've got Iran, which wants to protect its territory and hold onto its strategic power. Then you have the U.S. Fifth Fleet, which is based right nearby, and its whole mission is to make sure anyone can sail through freely. Global shipping companies, they just want to get their cargo through safely without paying a fortune. And then the other Gulf nations, like Saudi Arabia, just want to make sure they can keep exporting their oil. You can see how all these goals are constantly bumping up against each other.
In the end, this quote really nails it. The Strait of Hormuz is so much more than just a line on a map. It's this incredible intersection, a physical place where global economics, international law, and raw military power all collide.
So that leaves us with one final, really big question for the future. For decades, this strait's power has been all about the world's addiction to oil. But as we start to shift towards renewable energy, will the strategic importance of this 21-mile waterway finally start to fade? Or will something else just take its place, ensuring it stays a global flashpoint for years to come? Honestly, that's one of the biggest geopolitical questions of our time.